Have you ever started something feeling super confident, only to lose that confidence when things didn't go as you planned? It's frustrating, right? You start strong, full of energy and optimism, but then a setback hits and suddenly you're questioning everything. You're not alone. This happens to almost everyone, and it's called the confidence curve. Here's a twist on what you might already know about confidence. Confidence doesn't come from only the things that you've mastered. In this video, we're going to go over why your confidence drops, how to rebuild it, and some unexpected ways to feel more confident even if you're just starting out. It starts with high initial confidence. You're excited, optimistic, and maybe even a little overconfident. It feels like you're ready to conquer the world. We are driven by excitement, optimism, and a limited understanding of the challenges ahead. We need that feeling to take the leap and jump in. However, we overestimate our abilities and the ease of success. Things we might say in this initial starting point. I've got this. How hard can it be? This is going to be so much fun. Then we go to the second part, which is the dip or the valley of despair. As you start to learn more, you suddenly realize how much you don't know. The challenges and complexities become overwhelming at times, and your confidence drops dramatically. You feel discouraged, doubts start creeping in, and you might even be tempted to quit at this point. Things that people often say are, "I'll never understand this. This is impossible. This is much harder than I thought. I don't think I'm cut out for this after all. Maybe I should try something else." The third part of this confidence curve is the growth. After working through the difficult period, you start to gradually build your confidence and genuine understanding. Your confidence rises, but this time it's based on actual knowledge and skills rather than ignorance and only optimism. Your confidence matches your abilities. Things you might say here would be, "This isn't easy, but I'm learning. I'm proud of how far I've come, even if I still have work to do." The attributes in this area are resilient, adaptive, focused on improvement, and you have a growing belief in your ability to handle challenges. To show you how common this is, I want to use myself as an example. A few years ago, I decided to start an online course. I had been teaching this material for over 25 years in person, in classes, and I figured, how hard could it be? I know this material inside and out. It shouldn't be that difficult. I've dealt with all kinds of questions, students, issues, everything like that, so it shouldn't be a big deal. But what I didn't realize is once I started, there was a lot more to it than just teaching what I was used to. There was the technology, all of the stuff on the internet and how to use different things. Then there was the camera. I was used to interacting with people. Now, like I'm doing right now, I'm talking to a camera, which felt very odd and weird in the beginning. But once I started doing it more and more, it was getting comfortable. In the beginning, though, it felt really odd. You know, when you're used to talking to people, seeing their faces, their interactions, and now you're just looking at a camera that has no feelings, no emotions, no anything, you get no feedback from it. That was a lot different. Also, having to figure out how to edit videos. I hadn't ever done that before, so that was a whole new thing there. And then to add graphics and charts and how to add things to the video to make it more engaging, that was another challenge that I did not anticipate when I first started. I needed to find a platform to host the course, something that had online quizzes that could check for comprehension, all the types of things I would do in a regular class. I had to figure out how can I do that on a platform and build it so it was the most useful for people so they could get some actual practical application out of it and make it interesting as possible. So those are my challenges as I was going through this. And that was just on the course itself. Then I had to learn about marketing and advertising, something I had no prior knowledge about. And I found that to be a completely different world. Marketing, advertising is something that if you don't have a background in it, there is a steep learning curve in it, okay? Then I had to get testimonials because you have to be able for people to see the value that you're providing. So how could I explain that value in a way that people understood it and they got it and it was engaging? And then finally, I had to get people to actually enroll in the course. Now, in the beginning, I thought this wasn't going to be a big deal. I didn't think too much about it, but it ended up being a lot harder than I imagined. And I had doubts along the way, like, could I actually pull this off? But I didn't give up because I knew that there's always a learning curve when you're doing a new endeavor. And I adapted, I learned new skills, and I got better at navigating these different challenges that I was facing. Looking back, I realized the confidence I have today didn't come from getting it right immediately. It came from sticking with it, growing through the process, and proving to myself that I could complete something new. I could figure out something new and I could do it. So if we look at the confidence curve, we'll see at the start we're really excited and ready to go. Then we have a dip, and this is where most people unfortunately quit. This is where a writer stares at a blank screen. A person at the gym is discouraged because they're not having the results they wanted as quickly as they wanted. A frustrated student might give up. A businesswoman might be frustrated because she's not making enough sales. The dip feels awful and it tricks us into thinking we're failing. You start having thoughts like these creep into your mind. I'm not good enough. Maybe this isn't for me. It's really tempting to believe those thoughts because the dip feels like proof that you're failing and you're not good enough. But the truth is, the dip isn't failure, it's just part of the process, what you must go through. Think about it. Every skill, every success, every breakthrough happens after you face challenges, not before. The dip is actually where the growth happens. When you're in the dip, it's not just about learning the skill, it's about learning how to trust yourself. Every time you push through those doubts, you're teaching yourself, I can handle this. I believe in my ability to figure this out. And that, my friends, is the type of confidence no one can take away from you. It's not about avoiding failures or struggles. It's developing the rock-solid confidence in yourself that even if or when I struggle, I'm going to keep going and I'm going to make it. The next time you find yourself in the dip, remember this is where the magic happens. The dip isn't here to stop you, it's here to shape you if you let it. This brings up a big misconception, and that is that confidence can only come from mastery. You have to be an expert or a pro before you can be sure enough and believe in yourself. But what if there was another way to feel confident even if you were a beginner? And it comes from places you might not have thought of or expected. The first one I want to share with you is confidence from intentions. When your reason is crystal clear and your desire is strong, it creates an inner confidence that can go beyond your current abilities. You are tapping into something bigger than yourself, a purpose or mission that propels you forward. It's not confidence through mastery. It comes from the belief that what you're doing truly matters. A great example of confidence from intentions is Clara Barton. And during the Civil War, she wanted to help people. That was her intention, and it gave her confidence. Was she a trained medic? No. Did she have medical background and all that stuff? No. But she had the intention to save lives for people in need. And that was bigger than her doubts and her fears and her worries. So when your purpose is bigger than your doubts, that can give you confidence. And you don't have to let the lack of training, the lack of preparation stop you. And because of what she did in the 1860s in the Civil War, helping people, she created and was the founder of the Red Cross, something today that we still benefit from. A personal story in my own life about the power of intentions and how that can give you confidence was right off the bat when I started college. I was in a big auditorium. They're introducing all the stuff that happens in college life, and they're explaining it to all the new students. And I remember one point very vividly. They said, look to the person to your left, look to the person to your right. And they said, only one of you is going to graduate from college. I was like, whoa, that was not very motivating. But what it did for me is it gave me the intention. I decided at that moment, sorry about the two people on the sides of me, I guess, but I decided at that moment that I was going to graduate from college. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew I had the intention, and that intention pulled me all the way through the graduation line. A second way to have confidence in an unorthodox way is confidence through curiosity. Curiosity has a way of replacing fear with excitement. When you're curious, you don't need to know all the answers. You just need to ask the right questions and stay open to exploring. Confidence from curiosity comes from the willingness to learn and discover. A great example of confidence through curiosity is Temple Grandin, and she has autism. But she didn't let that stop her. What she did was had a magnificent curiosity for animals. And with her curiosity, she revolutionized the way that livestock were treated. It was in a more humane way. And it all was because she was curious. She didn't have all the answers. She didn't know everything when she started. She went into a world that didn't really necessarily respect or like her. But her curiosity was so strong that it overrode those other things and gave her the confidence to continue. And the way that she helped create things and revolutionize them, the livestock today, that is used worldwide, the systems that she created. And it all started with her asking questions about what if there's a better way to do it? And that's directly curiosity. For myself, I've had a real curiosity. Why are some people more successful than others? Why do some people do better than others? All that type of stuff. Do they have higher drive, more motivation? What is it that makes some people have happier, more fulfilling lives in however you want to measure that, and then others don't? So anyway, that's something that's really been a curiosity for me. And in college, I took sports psychology classes, and I was fascinated with that. When I became a teacher and a basketball coach, I would try different things. I would read books about Phil Jackson or Pat Riley and what they would do, and I would get different ideas, and I would try them and see what worked and, frankly, what didn't work. And what I realized through all this is that you don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be willing to take the next step. And if you do that, you're going to have major breakthroughs. A third form of confidence that you might not have thought of is confidence through serving other people. When you focus on helping someone else, the pressure shifts away from you. It's no longer about being perfect. It's about making a difference in someone else's life. A great example in history is Oskar Schindler. During World War II, Oskar wasn't a trained resistance leader, but his desire to save lives gave him the confidence to act. His focus on serving others made the impossible seem possible. When I first started student teaching, I wanted to script things out, over-prepare, because I was nervous, I wasn't very confident, and I was unsure of what I was doing. And my mentor teacher, Lono, said, what you need to do is put your focus on the students. It's not about what I'm doing as a teacher, it's about what are the students doing. What are they learning? How are they being engaged? When you put your focus on them, on serving the students, then any kind of anxiety, stress, fear, that kind of stuff leaves you. Later on in my life, when I met some professional speakers, they said the same thing. One of my mentors, he said the same thing. When you put the focus on other people, when you put it on the audience and serving them, it takes all the pressure off you. When you're worried about yourself and how you look and how you're coming across and all this kind of stuff, then it changes the dynamic. So you can have a lot of confidence if you have confidence through the intention of serving other people and helping them and having that be your driving force. The fourth and final way I want to talk to you about confidence in unorthodox ways is confidence through resilience. Confidence doesn't always come from getting it right the first time. It comes from knowing that you can handle setbacks. Resilience isn't about avoiding failures, it's about bouncing back stronger. A perfect example is Thomas Edison. When he was developing the light bulb, Edison faced an astonishing number of failures. He tested over 1,000 materials for filaments before finding the one that worked. He found 10,000 ways it wouldn't work to create a light bulb. His confidence didn't waver because he reframed failure as part of the process. In 1879, he invented the first light bulb for broad use. His confidence came from his unwavering belief that success was inevitable if he kept on going. An area of resilience for me was when I took an unfinished basement and I finished it. That was quite a challenge for me. But my resilience helped me through this. And I didn't do it alone because I made blunders and had big learning curves and all this stuff. Two people in particular helped me out. One was Rick, the electrician. He saved my bacon several times, helping me out, giving me a lot of pointers and tips. And the other one was Rich, the plumber. And I'll give you an example here. There was one time where I had a problem. I had to redo something, redo the studs or something. I can't remember what, but I had something wrong and I had to cut some of the stuff and redo it. And I was so focused on fixing the mistake, like moving the stud over or whatever it was for the inspection that was coming up because it wasn't right, that when I cut that, I cut the water line behind it because I didn't even see it. I got so focused on what I was doing. And Rich came and helped me out and solve that problem. And what I realized is that it's easy to get overwhelmed or frustrated, but when you jump into something and you're resilient, other people start coming on your team, they start helping you out, and good people are there to assist you, and they believe in what you're doing, they see what you're doing, and they help you out. And it all happens because of that resilience inside of you, and it gives you confidence, it brings in other people, they're helping you, and you get it done. If you've ever felt like confidence is out of reach because you aren't an expert yet, remember that there's more than one path to confidence. Whether it's focusing on your intentions, focusing on helping others, or building resilience, these unorthodox sources of confidence are always available. These are just a few examples of the many you can use to build your confidence. You also have confidence from taking action, confidence from visualization, and confidence from belief in yourself, just to name a few others. I hope you got some great ideas here and that the confidence curve is something that now you better understand. Because before I knew it, I didn't even realize that was out there. Now I know when I start something new, I'm going to have that start, that excitement, that optimism, and then I'm going to have that dip. And if you stop at the dip and go back to the beginning, you'll see a lot of people will try something, they'll do it, they'll go down to the dip, and then they'll be, oh, this isn't for me. I'm not making it as a realtor. I'm going to do something else. And then they start cryptocurrency, and then that doesn't work, and they go down. And then they start something else, flipping houses. I don't know, whatever it is. But you have to go through that dip, and you can't stop at the dip and keep starting over. Otherwise, you're not going to see the growth and the progress and all the things that you want, all the benefits in life. So just know that the confidence curve has 3 parts to it. The start, where you're really excited and optimistic. The dip, where it feels like the valley of despair. But if you stick with it and go through it, then you'll get to the growth where all your progress and all your achievement starts happening. Then also realize that you don't have to be an expert yet. Yes, I do believe that there is confidence in mastery. And when you know that you can do something, there's definitely confidence in that. But there's other ways of having confidence, such as confidence through intentions. So use some of those other ways until you build up your mastery. At the time of this recording, I have around 150 videos on this channel at Bryan Orton 1. Check them out. There's lots of other ones on confidence, on motivation, helping you out. There's also a lot of stories, motivational stories to inspire you. So check those out. Also, remember to hit like and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. All the best to you.